Yes, good evening and good afternoon from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Lubuurwa and I welcome you to Uganda Crossroads, where we discuss issues that affect our country, Uganda, positively or negatively. We always appreciate you whenever you join us here on Campfire TV, and of course those who are watching us from our online platform, LifeM TV Live. Thank you so much, really greatly appreciate. Now, like always we say, every week has its own news stories. This week was a very great political week in Uganda, where we saw People Power releasing their coordinators that are going to be running all over the world in terms of mobilizing their members in support of the movement itself. Now, the day after, or actually the following day after People Power releasing its members, we also had another meeting from the FDC, People's Government Department. You can say it's a collective of people, just as everybody believes it. But they also had their assembly, also affecting or talking about the national issues. Now, in the same week, there was tabling of the electoral bill. These are the stories that we are going to discuss today here on Uganda Crossroads. We are expecting to be joined by one of the few selected people. Now, we're going to have one. We're going to have Karim Muntambi is in Maryland, so he's going to be joining us. He was selected to be a representative of People Power here in the United States of America. He is led by another lady who is also strong in the voice, but we expect to have her soon, probably maybe next week or weeks to come. All that. Those are the stories that we always come here and share together. Now, I want to thank you because Sarah Joy Bakanas is here in the house or in the studio. We have Richard Miyambi is also part of the discussion again. They are always here to break down the stories. So guys, let me start with Sarah. Sarah, how was the week before I even have my seat? Did you enjoy the week?
My week was amazing.
Yeah.
My week was amazing.
Yeah.
And, everything is good apart from the weather. It's a little bit too hot.
Good, right.
But everything is good and amazing.
All right, so Richard, I want to step down to you. This week was really amazing. You and I had some interaction about, the trends in Uganda politically. What was it to you?
This week was so important to me. And I was very, very happy for the team that was selected. But at the same time, I was very sad of what the government side had to say in Parliament that the bill they are going to do, because the struggle now seems to be going to a different zone altogether.
All right, so sure. Richard, thank you so much. Sarah, this week was amazing, and what made it amazing was People Power movement led by Honorable Robert Chagulanyi coming out to say, okay, now this is a team. I am one of those few people who have been asking questions. Where are the structures of People Power? And when I heard both Bobby Wine and the spokesperson for the movement coming up to say, now this is how we have started our journey. Now, let me ask you a question. The list was released.
Yeah.
And everybody is happy, those who believe in the People Power movement. But there are people who are not happy at all. And I want to start with that. I'm going to start with the negative side of why the list was released. There is a lady called, by stage name, she's called Full Figure. She disagreed with everything that was done. Sarah, I want to start with you because you actually posted on your page about issues like that. So what came into your minds when you saw Full Figure coming out to disagree with the decision that was taken?
What happened is, I think as time goes on, People Power will start cleaning up, because I think clearly you can see the problem of Full Figure. He wanted a position. She wanted to be one of the, because for her she thinks it's a cabinet. And I've been following up all the interviews she has done within the week, within that day and then the next day. She felt like if she's not given an opportunity right now, when is she going to be given an opportunity? Full Figure failed to understand that the coordination is completely different from a cabinet. A cabinet comes after someone wins an election. We still have a long way to go before Bobby Wine, wins an election and is sworn in as president for a cabinet to come up. And coordinators were long overdue, because you need people to be answerable to certain things. I think she entirely wanted a position, but at the same time, I was happy with what happened, because you need to clean up. There are so many people who have been hiding People Power when actually they are not part of the cause. Especially once I've been stressing for a very long time that we are harboring so many people who are, their most important role in people power is insulting and obscenity. And I said, we are spoiling this cause by spouting out a lot of obscenity. When someone, you don't disagree with someone, all we choose, instead of debating mercurely and putting up points, you know, to counter whatever they are saying, what we've been doing is we've been obscene in so many, on so many occasions. We attack people by being obscene. But now, you see, I think God is on our side, just like, you know, Bobby Wine is not in Uganda by mistake. Bobby Wine came down, you know, it's God's plan. Everything you see that has been happening and taking place, there is a hand of God. I think the cleanup has started. We are totally cleaning up. We've seen the likes of Full Figure. They've been around Bobby Wine because they want positions. They're not there to serve people. And this is a very clear indication for everyone out there who is not happy with the list that was chosen. Not everyone is going to serve. Not everyone is going to be in leadership. Even when you have a king has servants, some of us are meant to, you know, to follow. We are meant to follow. We are meant to be served and either criticize those serving us or applaud them for the good work that they're doing. So, but if everyone is fighting for positions of coordination, and let's be honest, I think Full Figure is a very good mobilizer. For me, she has the energy to mobilize. I can see that. But Full Figure has not packaged herself. All along, Full Figure, even if you wanted to elect Full Figure, you would be caught in between two rocks, because she has the way she has branded herself in this cause, she has branded herself as this person who abuses, who blackmails, and who sprouts out a lot of obscenity. That's what has come from Full Figure. Basically, anytime you see either it's Namboze or anyone, Full Figure has been the one who is on the forefront at using obscene to these people. So sometimes you want to blame whoever made this list. But at the end of the day, do you want Full Figure to represent? Is she the type of person you want to represent the people? Because as much as you know, the biggest population of Ugandans are youth. Youth in Uganda still have morals. Not every youth is obscene. We have also, you don't want also votes from the youth as alone. You want votes from the elder as well. So for all this time, Full Figure has been packaging herself in the most terrible way that even if Bobby Wine really wanted to give a position, it would be really hard for him, because at the end of the day, people would be like, really? Because I'm telling you, if Full Figure appeared on the list of the coordinators, I am telling you, still there would have been a heated debate on, they would have brought back everything she has been doing negative, because in the cause, and I choose it and say, okay, this is what you're about. So I think let Full Figure accept to lead in whatever capacity she's gonna, you know, she can as well still coordinate, where she can still also mobilize, because without any doubt, I believe Full Figure is a good she can be a very good mobilizer. She has the energy, she has the zeal. I'm so disappointed that she came in because she wanted a position, but we still have a long way to go. Maybe if she cleans up her image right now and mobilize and coordinate, because some of these people who are coordinators right now, if Bobby Wine wins the election in 2021, they might not even appear on the cabinet. Right. Because one thing you must understand, and I think whoever was left out and they are disgruntled and they feel like Full Figure is speaking, because there are so many people I know who feel Full Figure is speaking for them, and they are just afraid to come out and speak out because they don't like the lashback. So what I would advise them, what they need to do right now is they need to do what is supposed to be done. I think Bobby Wine's cabinet is going to have the most people who have done the mobilization, who have, gotten more people to the right side, and people who have planted themselves to the grassroots. Because there is no way you can deny any position to someone who has brought in people. For example, you go to Kabale district, someone has 10,000 people. You go to Jinja, they have 20,000 people. Someone who is going to be, the force of mobilizing and bringing people together to the right side. I think that person will not miss a cabinet position.
All right, thank you. Richard, before I bring in Karim, I want to start with you, Richard.
For me, I liked Full Figure very much. So at this stage, we are not looking at government. We are looking at a struggle to overthrow the regime that is in power. But at the same time, I agree with Full Figure. She is on the forefront of the struggle. She has risked everything that she has, and she's going to risk more against the government.
Right.
And this is a journey to power. I think she would have given at least a deputy. But for me, what I liked in this mobilization of giving people, because I saw the way it was exactly the way the federation of the country is going to go. For me, the most people I liked in this choosing was, first of all, Tunkasimire. I was very happy with Tunkasimire, because Tunkasimire is going to work between Bunyolo and Tolo. The second person I liked was this young man, Zaki. The youth are going to be the core point of the struggle.
Right.
The third thing I was very happy with is this Kasese woman. For me, those are the most important things that I liked in the coordination. But at the same time, I do agree with that woman, because this is a journey to power. I don't want her to be left behind, because she has put so much at stake, and she's expecting more to come. So,
sure.
You know, let me interject a little bit. Let me interject a little bit to him, because if you say Full Figure has given a lot and she should have been awarded something, there are so many of us who have done the same thing as Full Figure. There are so many of us. If Bobby Wine is going to start awarding people because they've done something to the struggle, so many of us are going to start demanding.
All right, so let
me finish up.
Yeah.
So much we've given our time. I am seated here, I should be working. We've given our time, we've participated in demonstrations. There are so many people in Uganda who are not on that list, who are very close to Bobby Wine. The likes of Eddie Mutwe, there are so many people who have been so much involved in this struggle. It's not only Full Figure, who feels, I think at this point in time, what we have to advise Full Figure, our sister, is to know that we are all in this cause because we want change. If she came to the cause because she wanted a position, or she wanted to be put on coordinators, or in the end she thought she was going to be a minister or a cabinet, minister or state minister, she's in the wrong cause. Because if all of us start working towards this and thinking that we need to win a position or get a position, we are going to get, at the end of the day, if Bobby Wine wins and we don't appear on the cabinet, we are going to start becoming opposers immediately, because we did not do it because we wanted to serve Ugandans, or we did not do it because we wanted to liberate Ugandans. We went in all this because we wanted positions.
All right,
she's completely wrong to start demanding positions right now, even before we get to power.
I'm going to bring in Karim. Karim, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Sure. Thank you so much, Karim. Karim is from Maryland. First of all, let me congratulate you upon being selected, because you're among the few people who are not going to complain for not being put on the list. How did you feel when you saw your name on the list as a representative here in the US on this coordinators list?
First of all, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come here and talk to the people and let them know that we are still working and we need so many people on the team. And I'm so happy for everyone that got the opportunity to be part of the team.
So let me ask you this. Did you by any chance get to know how this list was selected?
Yes. There were consultations that were made on ground. There have been consultations going on for about a month all across the country, and we are still in a process of bringing so many people on board. Unfortunately, I'm having an echo. I don't know.
I think my technical team is going to fix that. So. We should be.
Yeah, I knew about the consultations.
All right. So let me ask you. Let me be specific.
Yes.
Did you forward your name there, or they just called you or contacted you and I say, Karim, will you be in position to continue with the work you've been doing? Because you are not part of those people who have been on social media, what others call making noise, or people who have been talking so much. How did your name come up?
This is a struggle. A struggle is like a war, and the way we fight it is different. You're going to find people in the army, you're going to find people in the Navy, you're going to find people in the Air Force, and you're going to find people in the Marine. So I might not have been on social media, but I've been somewhere else working.
So,
so many people are fighting from different fronts. The people you're seeing online are not the only people that are fighting. There are people who are fighting differently in terms of finding resources, in terms of making key contacts, and in terms of improving our brand.
Yeah, sure. I want to ask you this. Now, you and I know that recently the government came up with a new bill for electoral reforms. And one of the things that,
yes,
that is in it, they are not going to allow foreign support, just like, you know, financially. Just, it's sort of as usual. I mean, the Constitution has it. But this time, I think they're going to be more strict. Now, how are you going to do, what are you going to do, you people who are in the diaspora, to make sure that you fund the campaigns back in Uganda?
One thing I want to move to before I get to that point. One, after the election in 2016, the Supreme Court made recommendations, a kind of electoral reforms that they want. And some of them was to make sure there's enough time for people to get geared up for the election. Two, there was also a recommendation and share state media with opposition. But as of now, your friends online are the only friends of the opposition. Three, there was also a recommendation, use of technology. Four, there was also a recommendation on, in case the election has been unruled, what time, the span of time could be increased. So some of the recommendations that
yeah, but the government continues to say that they won't even allow independents to join to become candidates come 2021.
When we talk about reform, we talk about improving the system. It means bringing more numbers to the ballot. But if you look at what the Attorney General was proposing, it suggests otherwise. It doesn't bring numbers, It infringes on our right on association and expression. I don't know, it's a state-run machinery. It's not for the people. It's for the benefit of one party. It doesn't benefit us.
Now, Karim, before I let you go, I'm sure you've had people complaining for not having put on this list. And that's why I started by congratulating you because your name is there. What are you guys going to do now that you are part of the mobilizers? First of all, before you give me that answer to that, your leader, the team leader, if I pronounce her name right, Annie, she's not well known. Just that's what people are complaining about as compared to those who have been known on social media. So what are you going to do to convince people who support people power that don't know your team leader? Let me start with that.
The team leader is our team leader is around America. She's a former journalist in New York City. She's a professor at University of Durham. She has been working tirelessly behind the scenes. So much as you don't see her, she is doing a lot of work on the ground to build a brand. Two, to answer your question on the people that were not selected.
Right, to people who are complaining. I mean,
this is a coordination committee, and the answer is on to us who have been selected to recruit more people. And soon we shall be coming to Boston to launch a team in Boston that is going to be working with us. And it's going to continue different places where we have a good number of candidates. So the people that are complaining didn't understand that this is just a coordination committee. These are not like we are supposed to be working with other people. For example, we are about to meet people here, and we cannot do it alone. We need you guys. We need to start coming and advising us and giving us ideas on how we can improve the struggle. See that we'll win in 2021. Our ultimate goal is at least 7 of 2021.
All right, so Karim, can you, don't go off. I want to come back to you guys. Now, you have heard the names, the people who are selected here in the diaspora. We have, I always find it hard. I think I'll talk to her and correct how to pronounce her name. Arau Amni, the team leader. Then Miss Belinda, a team from UK, Patricia Mugisha from Dubai, Sombi Ibrahim, South Africa, Mr. Victor, Sweden, Mr. Karim, the one we are talking with, the US, Captain David Sejinja, US, Canada, Namata Serumaga, Ghana, then Maurice Sabit, Ghana. Now, these are the guys who are connecting diaspora. When you read these names, I'm sure you've contacted at least some of them. What does it tell you, Sarah?
I think what people need to understand, I know I've spoken to a number of people who showed their dissatisfaction and said, oh, how comes the people that were chosen in the diaspora, we do not know them. One of the things you must understand, not everyone who is on the internet, not everyone is on the internet. Some people are doing a very good job off the internet. And they're doing much more than us who sit on the internet. Because if us, and again, for us, people who sit on the internet, our role cannot, because our role is too big even to start mixing it with coordination. Our work is so much, as in we are so occupied. We need to talk about everything that happens in Uganda, break it down, make people understand, analyze it on the internet. Now, if you add on the role of coordination, you're giving us too much work. Then why don't we leave the role of coordination for other people who have time and can even execute it better than us who are on the internet? Just imagine, you have to be on the internet, you have to go live on Facebook, you have to put up a post, you have to handle a number of things. At the same time, you have to do underground coordination. So I happened to talk to someone who knows Belinda team very well, and they told me a team, every demonstration, most of the activities you've seen that have been handled in UK, they've been managed by Belinda team. She has been the one organizing everything. She's been doing a very good job, but in the background. And sometimes, it is. Let me tell you one thing. It might be easy for you to come on the internet and say whatever you want to say, talk. But doing underground work, getting involved, being on ground, coordinating is not very easy at all. Leave alone us, you get your airtime, sit on Facebook and blah, 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 you talk whatever you want. So they're doing, apart from the people in America, I've not met them, and I know very soon we'll meet. But I think let's note the specialization of labor. If really they felt that the coordination would be manned better by a certain team, they had reasons why they chose that particular. They had reasons why they didn't choose Sarah. And maybe I'm so spread too thin. You can imagine I come here on TV and say whatever I have to say. I have my own work. Maybe the gentleman in Maryland has already been coordinating and doing a better job than me. So at the same time, let's not start fighting over positions, over small things. Not everyone is going to serve. Some of us are supposed to be served. And on what I would tell the people, power, management and team. If I don't know how they can come down full figure, but there's a difference between a coordinator and mobilizer. Full figure is a very good mobilizer. That's what I see in her. She can be a very good mobilizer. She needs to calm down. If she really still wants to win people power, because I've seen after the backlash she got on social media, also her temper's flared because, her temper's flared and she's saying so many things. But at the end of the day, you know what? At the end of the day, if she still wants to be part of the cause, she can be a very good mobilizer. She's someone who can walk from one park to another, one village to another. But again, mobilization is different from coordination. She can be under a coordinator mobilizing in a different area. So they need to sit her down, talk to her and say, you know what, you're going to be part of, or maybe our lead mobilizers, because we need people who will get deep down in the villages and talk to our electorate deep down in the villages. And I see that in full figure. I see her as someone who can get down, move from one area to another. She's that soldier. She's that general who can, do the mobilization. So we need to calm her down if we can, and she can work under a coordinator, because maybe a coordinator has to write reports and give back to, to the secretariat or and maybe full figure is not able to do that. So if we still need her, We need to talk to her and see how, because we need everyone in this cause. She might be angry right now, discoordinated, or maybe she felt, I know she misunderstood this, she thought it was a cabinet. It is not a cabinet full figure. Bobby Wine, when he becomes president 2021, you might not be even on that cabinet then. But maybe he will find something for you to do, not even advisors, because you may not fit there. But maybe you'll find something to do. You could still be the people power mobilizer in
central part of it.
Central, yes, because mobilizers, you don't need education. You just need to know what to do. You're good at speaking. You're good at organizing. You need to go deep down and speak to the people. You're good at bringing, you know, a big mammoth of people together. So she can still do something. They need to just, you know, put her tempers down. But at the same time, if she wants to leave, I think people power there's free entry and exit. But we would have lost a soldier who is good at mobilizing but not coordinating.
All right, so Richard, let me first have a word from Richard and then I'll go back
okay.
to Marina later.
For me, this is my observation. I respect our leader, the people power, and the team that were chosen. They were chosen for a purpose. But these are the things that I want me as a political analyst to recommend. That the team that has been chosen, especially in the diaspora, must organize an international conference every month for Uganda, so that the people themselves in the diaspora that are going to represent the people on ground choose the type of government, the system of government, the army they want in the country, the economic system they want in the country, and the new reformation of Uganda. And important of all, to produce a blueprint for the campaign of Bobby Wine in 2021. This is very important for the international political win. We cannot win a struggle on the ground. I'll give you an example of Great Britain. I was listening to one of I don't know if it was a minister of the president of Museveni, being very happy with the new prime minister that came in Britain. That is one of their comrades that has entered as a prime minister. So especially the people in the diaspora and those that in Britain have to work hard to make sure that the people power are above them in anything that is going to happen to win him over. So these are the things that I wanted to say about the team that was chosen by people power into the diaspora, because I want to be part of that team, but I want them to emphasize more there, because at the end of the day, this struggle is going to be won by the international struggle, because what is going to happen on the ground, the way you see the Biaruhanga now starting to come up with the new laws that are going to prohibit Honorable Chagwan from running as an independent or prohibiting him from running in any other political party. I think the international committee is going to be very effective in sanctions, lobbying, and everything.
All right, so I want to bring back Karim. Karim, you've heard what Richard has said. Now let me ask you a question. If the bill passes into a law and independent candidates are not going to stand, what is your plan as you people in the diaspora?
As people in the diaspora, first of all, our role is to give our campaign gravitas and to market our principle, Honorable Chairman. So in the event that he is not on the ballot, or the government has decided not to have on the ballot, we have continued to let people know that our campaign is going to be non-ballot. We are going to stand up against this person. We are going to speak out, and we have been doing lobbying. We have been doing lobbying, we are reaching our international partners, and everybody is on board. So the world is watching. This is not 2016, this is not 2001, this is 2021. They can feel the fire burning right now.
And you expect now, if Dr. Besigye also stands as a representative for the people's government, don't you think there's going to be collusion between the two, Bobby Wine and Dr. Besigye? Will it be effective to you guys?
We have a campaign to run, and we have a country to liberate. this business of personalizing the struggle should start. I think the Ugandan people have been stunned. They are attracted to Besigye. We stood with him. I voted for Besigye when I was so young. I was 17 years old. Before I even became 18. I was on his campaign trail in 2001. The first one. So from 2001, 2006, 2011, 2010, he cannot say that the Ugandan people have let down. We have stood side by side with him. And every time the opportunity comes, it's like, okay, we are doing it this time. He has promised tsunamis, and we were ready for the tsunami, didn't come. This year they told us they were taking power before 2021, it was 2019. We are all
because recently, just within this week, there was a National Assembly for the People's Government. Isn't it part of the campaign for taking power before the next elections?
I cannot speak for the People's Government.
All right, sure.
I really cannot speak for the People's Government. I'm here to make sure that I market our brand. And make sure that I let you people know that we are ready to stand against 7 in 2021.
All right, Karim, thank you so much. I hope to see you probably in 1 or 2 weeks from now, live here in the studio when you come to the side of Boston. And then we can have a very bigger discussion.
All right.
All right, so just your final word, what should people in Boston expect from you as Karim, the representative here in the U.S.?
First of all, we have to understand why are we in the struggle. Before we think about ourselves, we have to think about why are we in the struggle. If we don't recognize that the reason why we're in the struggle is to liberate the country, we are doing nothing. We are going to be fighting here and there. My message to the people out there is to come together. This is our time, and I'll be in Boston soon. I'm going to be in Boston soon. We're going to try to make a committee there that is going to be helping us. And we also need your recommendation, the type of push back you help us. So, but thank you so much for the opportunity. The struggle is still continuing. Honorable Chagulan for President 2021.
All right, Karim, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. I'll get back to you, and then we can have another discussion probably live here on Uganda Crossroads. Have a good time. Guys, I'm back.
I wanted
I
wanted to raise something briefly before you take us on something else.
Right.
And this came from what came from all this the putting out the team of coordinators, and then I had so many questions being raised saying, why are we having coordinators out yet People Power is not a political party? And I wanted to address that because I know there are so many people who may be having the same issues. We are not a political party. Why are we having, coordinators and all that? I want our viewers to understand that you cannot have even in a home. I put up a post and I said simply that even in a home, a simple setting of a home, you have the head of the family as the father, then you have the mother and the kids, and everyone knows their own respective roles in that small setting of a home. And I said biggest movements like Martin Luther's movement, Martin Luther, one of the biggest revolutionary movements in the United States, it had structures. So we cannot, as much as we're not a political party, we cannot keep going blinded, we cannot keep going ahead being blind and forgetting to know that we need to organize a little bit. Because you saw at a certain point, People Power failed. Because, this started as a simple thing. It started as a joke, and then it has grown big. It is so many people believe in it. Because at a certain point, you saw we needed to have a spokesperson. Everyone felt they could speak, and people still speak for People Power in all their different capacities. But we needed someone who gives us a message from Bobi Wine. If Bobi Wine wants to pass on information, and Bobi Wine, first of all, was spreading himself so thin as a member of parliament. he was really denying the people of Chadondo East, you know, what they are supposed to be getting from him, because just imagine being the member of parliament Chadondo East, and the same time you have to be the spokesperson of People Power, and the same time you have to be the person who is leading the cause. So he needed to get a spokesperson who once in a while is going to put up information about the cause, about different activities happening out to the public. And the same thing to the coordinators, because now, for me, what I felt with the coordination team is it is about time we get down to the grassroots, because most of the people you saw, we covered the entire country. If you saw the team that came up, we covered the country from east, west, north, and south, and then we also went outside the country to also do the lobbying from the diaspora. So with the coordination team, we need to clean up. When it's a good sign. You saw after that, you saw people's government coming out with theirs. You've seen all these crazy bills that want to be passed. It is because these people used to take us for granted, because they thought we will never clean up, we will never organize. They're scared that we are organizing, and we are really serious about this. So for everyone who is out there and who thought, why are you having structures yet you're not a political party? You do not have to be a political party to have structures. In any organized setting, I've given the simplest example is a home. Even in a home where you have father, mother, and kids, there must be organization, there must be coordination, there must be structure, where you know this is the role of the father, this is the role of the mother, and the kids, this is their responsibilities. So it is as simple as that.
All right, so Richard, finish up with that. Then
this is going to answer what exactly Bwanika was saying, this Bwanika, the former presidential candidate. He said that now Honorable Chagwan is spoiling the people power by creating this team that he has produced. He's now putting it to himself. But I want to answer him properly, that teamwork is better than individuality. What Honorable Chagwan has done is the right thing. To win a struggle, you need teamwork. This is not, what we are going to do, we are uprooting a system that has been in power for 33 years. It has the army, it has the police, it has the intelligence, it has all sorts of things that has done on the ground that's not ready to go. So for us being a teamwork into Uganda, and we need an exact replica of the same teamwork with all the regions that were chosen, because I saw it very well. In the diaspora, you have to choose, because what the government is going to do, he has all the names. And at a certain time, he's going to arrest them and put them in jail. For us in the diaspora, we shall continue with the struggle, with the teamwork that is in the diaspora, with the exact replica that is in Uganda. So let me finish up with this, because whatever is going to be done in Uganda, it's not going to be about Honorable Chagwan. It's going to take the whole Ugandan. Because remember, this is a struggle to uproot Museveni from office. This is a struggle that will need everyone, in Uganda. Because we are going to change the economic system, the military system, the constitution, the government, lobbying, and making the government ungovernable. It's going to be on the ground, because you see what he's doing now. He's going to make sure that Honorable Chagwan does not go on the ballot box. Who is going to go on the streets? Who is going to make the government ungovernable? On the ground, it's the people. So we need everyone in the struggle.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I like how you ended with that, but I want to put you back to the newly proposed bill. There are a few things that are in it that are really interesting, and I want you guys to break them down. One, that under Presidential Elections Amendment Bill, an independent presidential candidate shall not enter into alliance with any political party. Now, so that's what we're expecting. We're expecting Bobby Wine to be an independent person, because he leads a movement, not a political party. And the Constitution, if made into a law, it won't allow him to make an alliance with either other political parties, probably probably FDC, DP, and other blocks.
I think what they're scared of is they knew definitely Bobby Wine is going to run as an independent. And the other thing is they are foreseeing and trying to close right now is they know, because if they stop him from running as an independent, he might join any party available and run under the party entity. Because Ugandans are not interested in which party. Ugandans are interested in Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine as an individual. You see, even everything the government is doing, it is not fighting any political party. The government right now, it is trying to do, it is closing every loophole that allows a person in the names of Bobi Wine to stand. They're not even fighting FDC, they're not fighting any political party. So they are scared that if Bobi Wine, okay, if they close up the loophole of him, if they close up him coming as an independent, they also force here and say, okay, we have to block him from joining any party. Because whether it is the party for, when this guy from Busoga, whether it's a party from Jema, whether it's one of the loudest parties that opened up yesterday, whether it has a name or not, all we need is Bobi Wine's face. Ugandans do not care which party the president came from. Ugandans at this point in time do not care where Bobi Wine is coming from. The Ugandans want to see Bobi Wine's face on the ballot box, on the ballot paper. So what they're doing right now, that's what they're doing, is they're trying to close every loophole of seeing Bobi Wine come up on any ballot paper that is going to be put out there. So that's what they're entirely trying to do, because they know at this point in time it's not about FDC, it's not about DP, it's not about, UPC. Even if you just a party today and you put in Bobi Wine as the face, Bobi Wine will still lead.
All right, so the bill also proposes to you, Richard, that there is a possibility that the police and army will vote earlier before the general elections. What does that mean to you? Is it a way of protecting the general elections, or it's just a...
No, let me tell you. On the last election alone, because Bobi Wine's message is for all Ugandans, including the army. Look at the Special Force Command. It's eating all the fat of the land. And the rest of the army, the NRA original, are eating in trash. The police, look at the way they are sleeping. Bobi Wine is fighting for every Ugandan, including the police, for a better pay, for a better services to the country. There are good people on his side. The reason why he's putting them to vote so early, because the violence that is going to happen after the election that has been cheated or mingled with is going to be out of reach for him to contain. Let me tell you something very well, and this message is going to Biaruhanga, he himself. I want him to look at two people as an example. One is the German Foreign Affairs Minister during the days of Adolf Hitler. He was the first person to face the hunger man. If Biaruhanga, you are advising the government of Uganda to take Uganda in that way, remember you will be accountable for what is going to happen on Uganda. You will face the international law, or you will face the Ugandan law. The second thing, look at Binaisa. It was Milton Obote in 1966 through Binaisa that took the country the way it has gone from 1966. Where is he now? He's dead. His children and grandchildren are still suffering. So we are telling Honorable Biaruhanga, the Attorney General, who is making all these laws in the name of President Museveni, please don't take Uganda that way. Like Honorable Chagwan said, let there be a free and fair election. If President Museveni, you are thinking that you have the mandate of the people, and you have the votes to be the next president, let's go into a fair and a free election. Don't take Uganda, because if the moment you announce that the Honorable Chagwe is not going to stand for the election, that's going to be the beginning of the end of the NRM regime.
All right. So,
in any way.
So I asked the same question to Karim before he left. That this time, the bill suggests that any candidate who stands on, who is nominated, shall within 14 days declare their source of funding. What does that mean? Is it a way of showing transparency, or what is it to you?
But you see, at the end of the day, when you say in 14 days you're going to declare your source of funding, it does not make sense. Who has been funding Museveni for all these elections? Museveni has been running all the elections, the previous election on taxpayers' money.
But these are electoral reforms.
Yeah, but you see, you see, if you say, definitely, Bobi Wine can declare his source of funding, because all Ugandans will have changed. We are going to put our resources together to support the campaign. But it is ironical, and it is kind of, I don't understand how these people think, because from 20, if you see all the previous elections, President Museveni has been running at the expense of the taxpayers' money. They've drained the Bank of Uganda. They've drained all the simple monies that have been coming in from Uganda Revenue Authority. They've been using that. That's why after elections you have too much inflation happening in the country, because they've drained the country. So if as much as they are demanding for this, they should be able to give Ugandans a clear picture of where they are getting their money, because we've not seen NRM mobilize for money. Even when Museveni was, because at this point in time, why are we having early campaigns? President Museveni has started early campaigns. A month ago, Museveni, the parliament had to pass a bill of 3 billion. Was it 3 billion? For President Museveni to be in eastern Uganda for 2 weeks. And this is taxpayers' money. Because for President Museveni to say that he's going to be in East Africa, in eastern Uganda, talking about wealth creation, that was a mockery. It was foolery. President Museveni was in eastern Uganda campaigning, but it is taxpayers' money. That money came from our coffers. It is money Ugandans, bringing us taxes that he used to campaign. Still, in 2021, it's not going to change. Museveni is going to use taxpayers' money. I wish they can expound and explain us properly where this money is coming from, because NRM does not have money itself. All the money NRM has used to campaign, all the previous years, they've used money from taxpayers' money. And again, going briefly to what you asked him about the soldiers voting earlier, for me, I have a different view on that. I think they are intending to do that. If you've been following elections before, all the barracks that have been involving in elections, the NRM government has been losing. When you go to the voting from, if you followed the previous election, the voting from Machindye, voting from Ombuya, the NRM lost. Because also these officers are not happy. They want change. So I think what they're trying to do this time, just as what he said is right, I think they want to have an early voting so that they can be able to tamper with these votes. Because for the excuse for you to say, oh, they want the soldiers to participate in keeping law and order on the election day, they can as well make them not to vote at all. And it will still be okay. But I think they want these guys to vote early so that they can be involved in early vote rigging and changing the vote result.
Something that is interesting in this bill. Originally, they used to declare results to the public. Namboli, you used to watch that on TV and all that. This time the government proposes that there are going to only be 5 people around to receive the results. Richard, you've been following this story for at least this entire week. What did it mean to you when you read that?
So, let me first finish with this. There was something that I wanted to comment. After the NRM, I won't say my past in between there, but after the NRM came to power, I used to work with a company in Uganda. It was called Friedrich Ebert Foundation. It was one of the sources that used to fund President Museveni when he was in the bush. So this is the struggle. Do you think that Honorable Chagwen or People Power is willing to give him all the sources that are going to fund him? This is the struggle. We are not stupid. We are not blind as he thinks that we are. That is number one. The second thing, the one you were talking about, of what were you saying about? They
were supposed to declare votes to only 5 people.
Okay. Now, this election, this type of things that they have been doing for all these 30 years of rigging election, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be the people power, the people of Uganda, to fight and make sure. Look at the American system of voting. The whole country, 360 million people, within 2 hours must know the leaders in every area, at least 4 hours. Why is it that, look at what happened in Uganda in 1980. Even the voting of 1980, when we gathered the election, with ballot papers, see how the results came out. And what happened, the way they were cheated. I think this time, the way he does it, or the other way around, is going to be beaten, it's going to fail, the people are going to be around, people are going to be where the elections are supposed to be, people are going to guard the elections, people are going to make their own tally, people are going to make sure they know the leader that has won in an election. So this is not going to be the usual elections that he thinks that he is going to put laws.
All right, sure. Sarah, before I want to leave this topic, I want to leave it alone, but I want to end up with this. In the same bill, or in the 4 bills that were released, there is also one statement that says, to stand as an independent, you must have ceased being a member of a political party for at least a year. Now, we have seen candidates who are still part of, for example, in NRM, some who are still part of DP, others who are still part of FDC, but they've joined the People Power movement. Now, we're almost 1 year to elections.
Yes.
What will that mean to people who are partly on the list that was released recently that are coordinating for the People Power movement?
I think the entire intention of the government is to frustrate as so many people, or as many as possible. But you see, at the end of the day, this, sometimes when you're doing stuff, you think you're blocking out, just like you see what happened in the previous election, 2016, when Mbaba Mbabazi was part of the team that drafted the what was that bill? The bill that was stopping people from...
yeah, that is it.
Remind me.
The public order management bill.
Yes, right. As Amama Bazo was part of the people who drafted the public management bill, he did not know that the same bill would come and bite him. So you see, some of these things they're drafting right now in 2019, they're going to come back tomorrow and affect them. But I think their intention is they are trying as much as possible to block out as so many people who either, because you have some prominent NRM members that have crossed over to People Power and they're speaking against their current party. So I think that what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to block off members from all different parties from being able to stand as independents, because some of these people are still strong. But as much as they are targeting these individuals, it is going to come back to them. And I think it clearly shows how much the government of Uganda is so frightened. I think the government of Uganda has never panicked in any election as it's going to be in 2021. 2021 is going to be one massive. It is going to be, people have to be careful, it's going to be so bloody. They are going to kill so many people. They are going to hurt so many people, because this is a life-changing election that is going to happen in Uganda. That's why you see the Attorney General is panicking, President Museveni is panicking, everyone is panicking. That's why they are planting so many malls in us. That's why they are doing everything to disorganize the movement, because this is the only movement where it doesn't matter which party you serve, whether you're NRM, DP, JEMA, you can as well be part of it. And this is the first time it's happening in Uganda. All
right, sure. Thank you so much. Now, to the people who are watching us live right now from the different platforms, we're going to have to open up our lines. So you'll be in a position to make calls. I'm soon getting the numbers. My producers are working on them so that, one, you can call via WhatsApp, or you can call directly if you are in these areas of USA, Canada. You can call directly, but WhatsApp number is going to be there. It's from South Africa, but we get links. So very soon we'll be pushing it, and you'll be in a position to make a calls. So this is very interesting now that politically everything is changing. New movements are coming up. A day after People Power declared the people who are coordinating, the following day, we saw Dr. Besigye and People's Government coming up. Was it just to take away the media attention, or it was intentionally planned between the two parties? I want to start with Richard.
For me, I think the thing of Dr. Besigye should not make us worry. They are in proper... you remember when this lady was right in this studio about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. She explained it totally. And last week we discussed that the agreement they are going to use is almost out. The argument they are going to use between People Power and FDC, because the purpose of Besigye and the purpose of Honorable Kyagulanyi are the same. But this time the mantle is on Honorable Kyagulanyi. We must agree with that. So at the end of the day, I should not worry about the Honorable Kyagulanyi and Honorable Dr. Besigye coming together, and Besigye gives a press conference after Honorable Kyagulanyi has given his. I think Honorable Kyagulanyi is well ahead of Besigye, and Besigye is a freedom fighter who wants to be part of the next government. Well, whatever, is it transitional? whatever it is, he wants to be part of the next government. Do you think he should just go in his house and sit like this and watch all his 20 years of the struggle pass by him because a new movement has come up? No, he must keep on trail, at least to catch a tail at the end of the day and say that this is my piece of the meal that I'm going to eat on this cow. So I think that's the way it is.
All right, so Sarah, I want to come to you. President Museveni is on Operation Wealth Creation, and he's been successful. We've seen large numbers of people coming to his campaigns, and his argument is always, the same. You people have to engage into production. You have to understand infrastructure is very important. You have to do this. Now, I was listening to Dr. Besigye. He also has almost the same agenda. We need to have better health structure. We need to have better infrastructure, but the government is letting us down. Now, I think Dr. Besigye has a statement in all that he was saying. Don't you think Dr. Besigye at this time is the right guy now to, take on the country with his new agenda?
No, but you see what happened, we've been talking about wealth creation for a very long period of time. The wealth creation from President Museveni is as stale as bad milk. You don't want to taste it because you're going to end up in the hospital. He has said that, I think, since I was a child till now, he's talking about that, and Ugandans are still poor. Majority of them are living below $1. The situation is bad. The inflation, when you look at the shilling versus the dollar, it is really bad. So there is, I think they just love repeating whatever they say. And I think, you see, what I don't, and he mentioned it, and I was thinking about it when he was talking. What I totally do not understand, he mentioned and said, Dr. Besigye doesn't want to give away the 20 years he has been in the struggle. Sometimes you need to retire. Sometimes it's not all about winning. Sometimes you try as much as you can, because whether Dr. Besigye becomes president or not, he's going to go into the history of Uganda as a freedom fighter. Dr. Besigye will have that respect whether you want it or not. He will always, he's respected, and when you see these other politicians talk about it, you cannot talk about politics of Uganda and you take away the name Dr. Besigye. That is completely out.
All right, so we're going to have one call that is coming in. And please let me know your name and where you're calling from so that we can be in line. All right, so hello? I think we had some technical issues either our side or their side. So guys,
I think let me finish up.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think Dr. Besigye, whether you want it or not, he will always go in history of Uganda as someone who fought for the freedom, as someone who has introduced the vigorous and people getting involved in politics, and people demanding for what they want, and people knowing and waking up people from the sleep. Ugandans used to say, oh, at least we sleep. Ugandans have moved past the sleeping, phase. Dr. Besigye will always be there, but at the same time, someone needs to retire.
All right, so we're having a call coming in. So please let me know where you're calling from and your names, please.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hello?
Hello? Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes,
I'm online. I'm Babidi Laila calling from New York.
Yeah, sure, Babidi. Thanks for calling.
Yes, but I'm not really clear right now. I don't know whether it's in the studio. I can't hear you very well.
We hear you very well.
Sure, but we can hear you very well.
Yeah,
we can hear you very well.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. So later, what was your question?
I think it's in your studios. Your voice is very, very low. My voice, I don't know if you're clear, but your voice is very down.
All right, sure. So we are good. Yeah, what was your question or your comment, your suggestion? All right, so we still have technical issues. We will fix that. So Sarah, yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So Dr. Besigye, you come to a time when you need to retire, because 20 years ago there are people who are just being given birth to when Dr. Besigye was starting the struggle. Right now they are into the voting bracket, and they are voters right now, because generations and generations keep on changing and times keep on changing. Right now, when even before Dr. Besigye, there was Sebagala. I remember as a kid when Sebagala, everyone was singing Haja Agambi, and then Dr. Besigye,
Right.
held up the mantle and is taking it on. And, time comes when, times change, and then the mantle right now, Ugandans feel like Bobi Wine should be given a chance to take the thing to the next level. And I know maybe 10, 20 years, there will be another Bobi Wine. There will be someone else, and we will not want to hear anything from Bobi Wine. We'll be like, sit down, you've tried, rest, let's give another person a chance. So I think it would be very mature for Dr. Besigye to respect Ugandans, to give and be part of the cause by mobilizing, by coordinating to see that we cause change into Uganda.
Sure.
But at the same time, give a chance to Bobi Wine, because Ugandans have spoken.
All right, so let me have one. I'm going to have two
Yeah,
calls and then, yeah, hello.
Yeah, guys, thank you for presenting. Again, my name is Abadije Laila.
Sure.
I don't hear you very well, but I'm just going to speak because I realize you guys are hearing me very well.
Right.
Nobody nnyo ensonga gye mulese mu ddiiro okubanga mwogera ku nsonga abantu ze beetaaga okumanya, okubanga mutunnyonnyodde who a coordinator is and who a mobilizer is. Muganda waffe full figure, I'm so proud of her because she's one person. Ateri antami yavuddeyo n'ayogera ekyabadde kimuluma. Ekintu ekyo kituufu, I know many people have criticized her, but abantu kirise ng'ate tebaategedde kikyabadde kitegeeza. Naye ye y'omu ku bavuddeyo ne bagamba nedda, nze lwaki tebannonze? Naye kirungi okubanga yavuddeyo n'ayogera. Kikyaffe ate abalala oba abantu abalala abangi ennyo abataasobodde kukyogera. Naye nga nabo tebaakitegedde. Mwebale kubanga munnyonnyodde abantu who are coordinated and who is.
Right.
And just like Mukulu Karim Boyogede, there is a plenty of jobs out there for us that we can do and work as a team. People power.
All right, sure.
So abantu okubeera nga balowooza mbu people power yalonze cabinet era bebagenda abo tebalonze ba minister, abo tebalonze ba mobilizer. Tukyalina omulimu munene nnyo ogw'okukola ate tubenga tetulowooza mbu tukola kusasulwa. Tukole lwa kubanga tulwanirira ensi yaffe ebeere bumu, ensi yaffe etebenkere. Agateeka ge batubagikako ssaawa eno galaga mbu Museveni yatidde nnyo ne gavumenti ye okumanya badde ebbanga lyonna lyonna bannayuganda baasirika nga tebamanyi ki abantu babazina emimwa. People have been oppressed to that extreme that they even didn't want to know what is going into the country, what is going on, nga tebaagala kumanya. Naye Mukulu Kyagulanyi atubikudde amaaso. Many youth have joined and now asking questions to the government. Many old people have joined the struggle. Many people have been opened their eyes to know what is going on in our country. Mukulu Kyagulanyi webale nnyo ekintu ky'okoze. We are going to still stand behind you and come 2021 batugambe ekintu kimu butogenda kwesungawo. Banaawulira nga zaabika. People power, our power. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Babide Leila from New York. Guys, you've heard what she has said, that things have to be worked on by the government and of course the people. So yeah, it's the responsibility of you guys to support people power. I don't know where I belong, but at least I know that I know where I belong. So we're going to have two more calls according to my producer, and you can call in. There is a WhatsApp number which is 277362262233. That is the code is from South Africa, so it's okay. You can call in, and then the 0961740280. Sure. Let me receive that last call, and then I'll go back to Sarah and Richard.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, this is Edward.
Yes, Edward. You're calling
from London.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for calling, Edward from London.
I just want to thank you. The work you are doing a tremendous job. Mbebaza buli kimu era mbadde nsaba mwongeremu amaanyi buli wamu tutuuse ekigambo kye muliko.
All right, yeah, these guys are always here who support people power. My role is to bring in as many people from all parties, NRM, FDC, so that we can have a discussion that improves the country.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sure.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. I just wanted to say thank you.
All right,
because I'm watching you now.
All right, thank you, Edward. Edward from London. Thank you so much. Guys, I think your voice is really good.
Cheers, man. Take care.
All right, thank you so much. So I think your voices are really going out loud to different continents. So that's really interesting. But I want to end up with this before we close the show, because we're running out of time. I've been informed by a producer. The Kampala mayoral race. We have Dr. Jose Chameleone, aka but Joseph Mayanja. We have Latif Sebagala, Honorable Member of Parliament. We have General Henry Tumukunde and Elias Lukwago. Now, I want to focus with Henry Tumukunde. I'm pretty much sure we're working on bringing Jose Chameleone probably in this weekend or coming weekend. We are just trying to negotiate with him so that we can have him here live on our show. I'm going to have this last call and then I'll come back to my discussion. Sure, hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, please. This is Jenny from Boston.
Yeah, sure, Jenny. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you very well, but I will speak out because I know people are hearing me.
Yeah, sure.
It would be really a supplement. That when I see this going the electoral reforms, I'm waiting for the NRM MPs abakolagana ne caucus abalonda bills according to the caucus. They vote the bills in because of the caucus. But in kuba one of the akawayo ke bataddemu eyo bill kakubeera nti a person to stand as an independent candidate, he or she alina okubeera nga he left his party 1 year after. Ate nga bulijjo tulabanga elections zibeerawo nti ba MPs bangi nnyo babba mu primaries ngeza NRM ne bakaayana ne bajja ne bayimirirawo nga ba independent. So mbalinze bulijjo abalondera according to the caucus kye bagenda okukola ku luno kubanga kyene ekintu nawulidde abagamba mu kiri people power balemesa people power naye nabandi no ba MPs kigenda bakwatako for the first time era I thank God so much. Kati bagenda lekera okulonda according to the caucus balonde emitwe gyabwe gye kibagamba kubanga babironda into power kitegeeza babba mu primaries eza NRM tebagenda kufuna mukisa gw'esimbawo. Ekirala banange our constitution says bagundi bakumi beddembe kati nga soldiers ba police balina okubeera nga tebali they are non-partisan, tebalina getting involved in politics kubanga bo tebalina kubeera nga balina omuntu gwe besimbyewo gwe baagala. So byane bagamba police balonde ennaku 5 before the election Museveni atidde ate nenkubiriza buli aba people power gye muli mweyongerezeemu maanyi omusajja kati ashaking and bakana kwebaka because if you see Bobi Wine bring out the coordination list aba government batandika okwetalayo bati nawulidde nti basuubinga ne Bobi Wine okurunninga unregistered political party. So they may say that it's not affecting them, but it's affecting them. So they could be omulanga buli people power abali bannange. Send a message to your family, clan members, friends, buli muntu mugende mufune nanga muntu. Nenga abana Uganda bananga bate bodies nanti bagenda zite bodinga zineno like electoral reforms nga bate bodies abana Uganda kachino kikwatako bannange muveeyo. Oba tugenda ku nguudo tweyambule, we can go.
All right, Jenny, thank you so much. Jenny, thank you so much.
It's our birthright, it's our constitutional right to vote.
All right, thank you. All right, sure. Thank you so much, Jenny. Jenny from Boston, thank you so much. Now I want to put this clear. At times, many people say that we only bring people power supporters or opposition supporters. This is the point.
I'm you very well because your voice is actually very fast.
All right, sure. Thank you. I think my producer is going to work on that. So I want to put this clear to the general public that is watching us, that every time people complain we don't bring NRM supporters or people who support the government, they may not be part of NRM. The real issue is we've always contacted these people and they've always let us down. So just to be clear, so that's why we always have opposition people coming up and people who are just new to independence, who have their ideas. So guys, I want to come back to you and then we close the show. Mayor race, Henry Tumukunde is back in force. And he's not scared about Elias Lukwago and all these other candidates. What does that tell you in the coming elections?
Let me tell you, I watched him on that show. He was live and I was following him. He said very obscene words, abusive words. He says, Honorable Lukwago, should have been the mayor of Masaka. That means these people have kicked us totally out.
Let me be exact to you. Now, I think the mayor race shouldn't be about tribes.
It's not about tribe. But for him to go on a public media and say, Lukwago, who has fought for people that have been oppressed by the regime of the government, he has lost everything he has to make sure that he supports the people that are oppressed by the government. And for him, he said that he should have been the mayor of Masaka long ago, and he should be the mayor of Kampala, and he's the right person. When the time comes when Uganda has gone into total federation, then he can become the mayor of Kampala. But of now, no. That is one thing. The second thing of the Western creation, which President Museveni talked about, I was supposed to comment on that. I'm going to comment it, and that will be the end. What does he say that he wants Ugandans to be rich and to come out of poverty? When his 10-point program says capitalism and socialism as system of government and economic system in the country, where foreigners are supposed to be more wealthy than the Ugandans themselves in the country, I think it's going to be people power that is going to rectify Uganda to go back in total capitalism so that the wealth belongs to the Ugandans. I was seeing him where he went, maybe in Liantonde, on a lake. We said that he's going to encourage people, people in that area to be to do cage farming. When he himself in Lake Victoria, he has sold the lake to foreigners. What does he mean?
All right, Sarah, on the same topic of race for mayor.
I think Tumukunde needs to go. If the issue is tribal, who is supposed to stand in Kampala because he wanted to make it tribal, I think he needs to go to Kampala because Kampala is in Buganda region. Lukwago has every right to stand in Kampala being a Muganda. If we are
no, you guys are making it to be tribal.
No, because from the statements he made, unless if you're using common sense, he wanted to sound tribal, and if it's tribal, then that's what should happen. You should go and stand in Kampala as mayor and leave Kampala to Lukwago because Lukwago is a Muganda and is not a Muganda. If we are going to take that lane. But I think we are past the era of tribalism. Apart from a few people who think they can still, express themselves by being tribal and get away with it. But at the same time, I'm not worried about Tumukunde. The people of Kampala, it's a lot where you call politically elite. There are areas. That's why you see what has been happening. You see, if you followed 2016 elections, most of the areas that have the urban areas where the masses, they understand, they cannot easily be fooled, the ballots didn't come in and they were not allowed to vote. So the people of Kampala are politically elite. You cannot start telling people of Kampala, because I'm Tumukunde, it does not matter to them. My only worry, thank God you said Chameleon is going to come to this panel, is the black sheep on this race for me. Take away Tumukunde. Tumukunde is not even an issue. The person here who I'm looking at, and I need him maybe when he sits on this panel, maybe he needs to convince me really why he wants to come for mayor, is Chameleon. And I've said Chameleon would be, and I've seen people give suggestions, let him go to Mityana, but in Mityana he cannot beat Zake, because Zake is the MP of Mityana, right? So he cannot beat Mityana, he cannot beat Zake in Mityana. So as much as Chameleon is really popular, I'm still doubting him performing in Kampala, especially if you have strong, because you see the entire race is going to be between Latif and Lukwago. And I don't know why Latif is living in Kawempe, because it's Lukwago. Lukwago has put himself, the grounds are so deep, and he knows how to maneuver politics. He understands the game. So despite, I know also Latif has been in politics for a long time, maybe 10, 15 years. So I do not know how they're going to maneuver Kampala, but that's where I see the tight race. Chameleon, he has, because when I see even from social media, I saw the other post, he made a post where he was saying people should learn to be forgiving, people should learn to be welcoming. I know he's feeling the heat because Chameleon has done mistakes as an individual, right, and he's expecting Ugandans to forgive him for the mistakes. So, but at this point in time, Ugandans are not being so forgiving to Chameleon. Maybe Chameleon needs to do more. People have called him a mole, people have called him a hypocrite. Right. Chameleon, I think it's about time he needs to find a strategy of how to convince Ugandans, especially those on the opposing side, and those who vote him in Kampala, because those are strongholds of opposition. He needs to find ways or strategies of how to tell people that he's really reformed, he believes in change, and he wants to serve people. Because I know many people have accused him of being put out by the movement. And maybe when he sits on this panel, he will help us understand: is he really on the on the ticket? Is he on the payroll of President Museveni, or he's really reformed, or he really wants to care for the people of Kampala? Because I think apart from him doing Facebook posts and all that, he has not really come up. Ugandans are not yet really convinced about Chameleon.
All right, sure. So last time I was ending the show, I asked the same question, and I'm going to ask it again, but you'll answer it next time. Why is it okay for Bobby Wine to stand and not Besigye, but it's not okay for Chameleon to stand against Elias Lukwago? So that's something we will answer probably next time. Coming up is Love, Sex and Money with Denise. She's already in her studio, so very soon she's going to be live. Next Saturday, I plan to bring her a little bit on Uganda Crossroads, just to, have interaction to see whether love, sex, and money can connect with the politics. Anyway, have a great time. My name is David Lubuurwa. Thank you for watching Uganda Crossroads. See you next Saturday, same time.
No.
Guys, I want to thank you for joining me.